Welcome into a Thursday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show right here from the UDL live on this Thursday morning, presented by Go Chevrolet, G-E-A-U-X, Chevrolet.com. Remember, you can get in touch with Lee Carney, Nick Richard, the entire crew over at Go Chevrolet. Brand new car lot out in LaPlace, Louisiana. Used car lot over in Baton Rouge. Whatever inventory you're looking at over in LaPlace, they can get it to Baton Rouge for you. So check them out online at G-E-A-U-X, Chevrolet.com. Our coffee daily is provided by Majestic Brews, Majestic Coffee, which is at DeliciousSips.com, locally brewed down here in South Louisiana. Our water daily is brought to you by True Blue Water, T-R-U, bluewater.com. And all of our guests via the phone line are compliments of Metropolitan Health Group. Real doctors, real solutions. Our good friends over there, Charlie Harvey and Jason Ramazan, always helping us out every day here at Metropolitan Health Group. We appreciate them. As we'll talk to Cody Worsham over at LSU. Worsham will be here at right around 7:50 this morning, a little before 8 o'clock, as he's got an 8 o'clock meeting this morning. So we'll get him in and out of here about name, image, and likeness and what's happening here in the NCAA. If you've been paying attention to this thing, since midnight, deals are being struck all over the country. Some a historic day for the NCAA that started at the stroke of midnight last night, as deals were being done in New York City. They're being done in Miami. They're being done all over the place, and we'll tell you about them. A local attorney and former LSU basketball player, a part of the 2006 Final Four team, and a local standout over at the Dunham School, and now an attorney here in town. David Fleshman will stop by in the next couple of minutes here early on in the 7 o'clock hour to tell us a little bit how this thing is going to work. He's been paying attention to it and will give us some of the specifics on how the state of Louisiana is going to function under name, image, and likeness. Governor John Bel Edwards still not signed the bill yet.
What's the deal?
I don't know what's going on over there, Noah. Any insight?
Yeah, Noah.
No idea.
What's going on with John Bell?
Our political insider.
Well, he's tied to the governor's office.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying
Can I
people
put that
don't
on the
know
public?
that.
Can I put that on the public? Yeah, okay.
It's like what you just did.
Yeah, right. Guess I'll have to retract that.
You're like, I don't know if I should say this or not, but
Let her rip.
Yeah, right. Just apologize later.
But listen to me.
But I think there is anticipation that there's going to get a signature today on this bill. I know that there is a big push by lobbyists and politicians to get this done, and the governor has it on his desk to sign name, image, and likeness. But deals are being struck all over the country. But we will get to that topic. We have to start with our on-set, our business manager, the backbone of what we do, is finally a national champ.
now I know how y'all feel.
Yes.
Welcome to the club.
Congratulations.
Welcome to the club.
It's a good feeling.
It was never close for the Bulldogs. It was never close. It was never close. It was meant to be.
It was.
For the Bulldogs here in 2021. Congratulations on a incredible performance by Will Bednar and Landon Sims as they combined for a one-hitter as Mississippi State won 9-0 over Vanderbilt last night in the College World Series Finals. It was the first one-hitter in a CWS final since 2014. Bednar, who had a 15-strikeout performance in his Omaha debut versus Texas back on June 20th, was named the most outstanding player of the tournament. And as we have learned so many times on these broadcasts, and ESPN has not let us forget. That was Mississippi State's first ever national championship in any sport as the Bulldogs' 12th College World Series appearance, and they finally kicked through the door. Only Florida State, who has been there 23 times and never won. I mean, you've got to think that there's some type of jinx, some type of hex
Or Mike Martin.
on Omaha, and it was all Mike Martin. Clemson's been there 12 times, Florida State 23, and now Mississippi State on their 12th time gets there and wins the Natty. It's got to feel good.
It looked like Duty Noble in there.
It did.
I don't know
It
if
did.
y'all watched,
Sounded like
but
it.
I mean, amazing.
Sounded
Without the
like it.
cowbells, though. Without the cowbells.
Which was still powerful.
It was
Still,
still
yeah, maybe you'll
powerful.
learn
We
the-
learned how to yell.
Yes, and
It
that's
was
that's an
amazing.
important skill that you learn at Tiger Stadium about 6 years old.
Yeah.
So welcome to the club
that's
in that regard
that's
also.
Right. You have to learn how
I
to
love the
yell.
dog pile.
Love it.
Yeah, it was
I thought
good.
that the old school pyramid style dog pile was good to see the retro
Warranted.
celebration. Yes, I mean I'd hate to be at the bottom. Still,
And it was a
I had
first round pick on the bottom.
I still had the anxiety that I had as a kid watching those
know,
dog
me
piles,
too.
thinking, what would I be doing if I was on the bottom
Me
of that?
too.
Because I remember like some of my most pure panic, not giving a bleep about what I sound like, look like, feel like. I'm getting out of this situation was when I was smothered on bottom of the piles, like type situation. Like, get off of me!
Oh, like if you're, wrestling at the house with like,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then the pillows come out, and you start getting
Yes.
smothered. Like, all right, I'm freaking out, dude. I'm
Yes.
freaking out
Yes,
down here.
yes,
That's
yes,
what I
yes.
Held
think
under
I
about.
can't breathe!
Held under the pool was the
Yes.
worst.
Yes.
Because
My
you're like, I
brother
could die
did
down
all
here.
this to me.
Absolutely. You go,
Yeah.
don't play like that, man.
It's not funny, dude.
That's
Sorry,
right.
Mac.
Yeah, exactly. Older brother syndrome.
Without
Yeah.
a doubt.
Yeah, I never had to deal with that.
I
got
did.
an older sister.
But it was
Been there.
it was a beautiful sight. I thought the celebration last night was fantastic. I mean, that'll be a great poster.
celebration.
Without a doubt.
That would be a great poster.
Yeah.
I'd love to see the front page. What would it be? The Jackson Clarion Ledger?
Yeah, Clarion Ledger.
Would be the newspaper.
Gotta
I mean,
be the
that's gotta be the
dog
shot.
pile. Kind of took an LSU tradition by walking around the stadium, but so many fans there. How do you not make the lap? I get it.
Yeah.
But like you said, the dog pile in the old school unis.
Yes.
Like it all just felt very good.
They
also,
do that. They do that when they win regionals, though.
LSU does the same thing. It's an old Alex Box tradition.
Weird.
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
Changing of the guard.
Yeah, Jay Johnson. Leave that one behind, bro.
You're gonna make a lot of people mad saying that.
It's all good. Who cares?
Let me tell you
The
what
people that are
David
gonna make
said
mad,
to
I want
me,
them-
though, during the game that really caused me to...
Patted you on the head.
No. I
Big-
did
big
my
brother?
weird superstitions.
Oh, that's
like,
cute. Y'all won
not-
one finally.
That was nice,
Something
huh?
like that. Like, I'm watching, not watching, I'm mad. I'm like, don't talk to me anymore. Don't talk to me about this. And he's like, what is the deal? I mean, it's in the bag. It's fine. I'm like, you don't understand. I'm a Bulldog. You don't get it. And then he was like, yeah, it's fine. Vanderbilt's having an off night.
Oh, that is a pat on the head.
Yeah.
I walked around the room, like, never breaking eye contact with him. Like,
It was just kind of a
and then I went in the
good
bathroom
game.
to watch
Katie,
the
I don't
game.
know why you're celebrating. You got more rings than Mississippi State does. It's your third one.
Not for long. Mississippi State, man, is built for the future. This guy, Chris Lemonis, I think that he is, without question, in the discussion of top baseball program, top baseball coaches feel like they are here to stay. I mean, I think that this is a program that feels like if LSU is trying to get back to that elite status, to that top tier of college baseball, then Mississippi State is one that they're going to have to go through to get back to the national championship circle. Obviously, that is an obvious statement the morning after they win the national championship, but I just say that it doesn't feel like this is going to be a one-time event with the Bulldogs. Now that they've gotten here, won, this coach, this program feels like they are at the top of the sport right now.
We've been so close every
Yeah.
time.
Oh,
Every
and
time.
yeah, and that's what when Hunt Palmer came in here, he was like, "Look, I just don't want him in the club because that makes it so much harder." Because
Yeah, it
he
makes
put his
sense.
LSU hat on, it makes it so much harder for LSU to get back to the top of the mountain.
It makes
And he's
sense.
actually right. He's completely right because once you start winning national championships and you're in that Omaha scene and you're on TV like that and get that exposure, it just makes it so much easier for people to walk across the street and go to Mississippi.
Yeah.
And they play a style of baseball that is very attractive. Like, they look like they are all in. They all like each other. They have a good
They're
team
very
camaraderie.
loose.
They're very loose. Now, I know that you can't replicate that every single year. That comes with chemistry and
winning.
experience and winning and all types of things that Mississippi State has been going through. But like the 91 team for LSU, when they finally broke the door down, I mean, it was like Lloyd said, I mean, it just made the program much more attractive to people outside of the area where you could go make a pitch to somebody, and it was very easy to get them on campus to play baseball for LSU. Mississippi State has that same feeling right now. So I think, Jay Johnson knows what he was walking into as far as the competitive environment and competitive landscape of the SEC. All you had to do was look around postseason and Omaha. But the SEC Western Division rival in Mississippi State is the best of them. And if they're not the best, then Arkansas right above you is, and Vanderbilt is right there too. So the SEC just flexing in the summertime in college baseball as well, gearing up for football season, which it feels like they'll be king of the mountain again.
Yes, it's got to be tough if you're in another conference to watch that. Like
It does.
They had now we're the SEC's making moves in basketball. You saw where all of these teams that are making moves are in the SEC. It's like, where would they come? We had one sport. Now the SEC's coming for basketball in terms of just having more teams in there, like Florida had a run. But now you see teams peppered all throughout the tournament. And if you're Jay Johnson or if you're LSU baseball, I would say, doesn't it feel kind of like the perfect time to make a move whenever you see Mississippi State coming to the top of the mountain, pulling in recruits from Louisiana to go to Mississippi State? Like, we had to shake something up. Like, Paul did a great job, but now we need an actual somebody that'll go out there and recruit and be the face of the program that's not really more concerned about, just coaching in the day-to-day stuff. We needed somebody to be the face and like a strong ally for LSU, and it feels like this is the perfect time to change coaches.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, name, image, and likeness is on. It's here. It is here. If you are paying attention to any of the social media platforms of any of the student athletes at LSU or all over the country, deals are already starting to be struck with players like De'Aaron King, the Miami quarterback, Florida State quarterback Mackenzie Milton has a deal in place right now. As just past midnight, Milton and King signed on as co-founders of Dreamfield, a NIL-based platform focused primarily on booking live events for student athletes, including autograph signings, meetings, meets and greets, and speaking engagements. Milton and King will be the public faces of Dreamfield and will recruit other athletes to use the platform. We have seen Derek Stingley Jr., if you were paying attention to his social media account, his Twitter account, he's got something in the works with walk-ons that they are waiting to announce. That is all done through Matchpoint, which we told you Charles Hannegriff is now working for, and Henry Hayes is kind of the mind behind that, with a very impressive board of directors that includes Brian Oliver, a local businessman here. It features Mackenzie Landry, who is Brandon Landry's wife, who is a very smart businesswoman here in town. Henry Hayes, like I said, and guys like Jonathan Pixley, former Dunham School head basketball coach. I mean, it would take a lot for Jonathan Pixley to leave that job behind.
Right.
I mean, he started that program, or really didn't start it, but he brought a lot of notoriety and a lot of attention to the Dunham School basketball program. Really was the the face and the name behind the fundraising to get them a new gymnasium built on campus. He won a couple of state championships, played for a few more, was putting players into college basketball, and left that behind. He left it behind to his longtime assistant, Jeff Myers, but now has stepped on and moved on and playing or working for Matchpoint, which is what Charles Hannegriff left ESPN Radio for. And this is pretty much a dating service on social media for student athletes and businesses, where your business fills out a profile, the student athlete has a profile. You're able, as the business owner, to go to that profile and say, hey, I'd like for you to endorse my company. And you're able to see right there on that profile page the amount of Twitter followers, the amount of Instagram followers, the amount of the reach of the social media platform that student athlete may have. You're able to see the likes and interests of what that player may be interested in, and then you can simply pay for a service right there, endorse a product, wear merchandise, get a social media post, all types of things, an appearance, like De'Aaron King and Mackenzie Milton are talking about over in Florida. I think the days of the free autographs are probably gone.
You might be lucky to catch one, they're still going to be,
maybe
even
on campus after a game.
But professionals still sign autographs. There's, they'll do the walk around
in public in a game situation, but you're not going to get them at, while they're at walk-ons eating their meal, walk up on them and get an autograph, most likely anymore. I mean, that'll be something
right?
They could.
But now they get
could,
paid for it.
Probably like Jordan could. Like a kid, but I mean, the mouth breathers who are waiting for these guys when they get out of the locker room,
the football, the jersey, and a helmet,
so they can turn around and sell the merchandise for money.
The sleaziest people on the planet.
Ain't happening. Yes.
The 45-year-old autograph
1%,
seeker?
The bottom 1%.
Oof.
The bottom 1%.
I read that Antoine Owens from Jackson State was believed to be the first athlete to sign an endorsement last night
at midnight. Antoine Owens, who is a big-time defensive end at Jackson State, plays for Deion Sanders. Mm-hmm. He did make history as he was documented as the first student athlete to sign an NIL deal that happened in a New York City hotel just at midnight, 12:01. Owen inks a deal with Three Kings Grooming, which is a black-owned hair product business that made the first splash of what is expected to be a historic tide-turning date for student athletes across the country.
Is there a better head coach to have to promote name, image, and likeness and help you in that regard?
Totally
Deion's perfect for that.
Sanders,
right? How much shit talking do you think he was doing in the hotel? Like, you're only getting how much more? In my day, I'd have had.
They said that they picked up 3 more Jackson State players last night in that negotiation just because of that alone. Now, Darren Ravel put out his top 20 most marketable name, image, and likeness student athletes. His top 20 list last night. He tweeted it out at around 10 o'clock last night. And the top 3, 2 out of the top 3 are at LSU. Spencer Rattler, the Oklahoma quarterback, is number 1, who's a redshirt sophomore. He played at Oklahoma last year, but he really became famous on the Netflix QB1 documentary, where he was able to explode on social media. He's got over 375,000 followers on Instagram and over 62,000 followers on Twitter. The second on the list is Livy Dunn, the gymnast from LSU, who is a social media phenomenon, right? She's the only current NCAA athlete with more than 1 million followers on TikTok and Instagram. A lot of people believe as soon as John Bell Edwards inks this deal and makes it legal in the state of Louisiana for student athletes to use their name, image, and likeness to promote product, that Livy Dunn potentially could be a millionaire overnight. That's how much money is sitting and waiting on her doorstep for the potential of endorsing product because of the strength of her social media platform. Number 3 on the list is Sharif O'Neal, the LSU basketball forward who transferred from UCLA. Of course, everybody knows him because of Shaq, and Shaq was, I believe, the first popular athlete, one with real big force, to join all social media platforms. He was the first to be on like Facebook and Twitter back in the day when those things were kind of coming to be as strong as they are now. Shaq really embraced social media and, for the most part, raised his family there.
Right.
You know, I mean, I think a lot of people have known Sharif since he's been a baby, or at least have recognized him since then. And he's got 2.7 million followers on Instagram. He's got over 320,000 followers on Twitter. He's got he's got a big personality. And Ravel sees him as the 3rd most marketable athlete in this deal. Haley Cavender and Hannah Cavender, the twin Fresno State basketball players, have already signed deals. They signed deals with Icon Productions up in New York. They both have over 250,000 followers on Twitter. And have deals already in place. 14th on the list is Derek Stingley Jr., top cornerback in college football, grandson of Darryl Stingley Jr., and is very recognizable in the SEC. And like we said, already seemingly has a deal in place. If you follow him on social media, you see coming soon with the Walk-Ons logo, and the Derek Stingley image in the background. That there is already a deal in place for Stingley. So this thing is fascinating, man, and it is like Stephanie Remp told ESPN, or at least it feels like it from just trying to cover the first couple of hours of this thing. It is like trying to build a plane while you're flying. I mean, just the amount of news. I don't know where you start. The train is flying 1,000,000 miles an hour down the track, and you're just trying to jump on. And where do you find the entry point to get in? Because it's happening. It's here. It's moving. Deals are being done. Money is exchanging hands, and it's all happening right now in front of our face. I mean, there's no trying to stuff this toothpaste back in the tube. It's done. I mean, NCAA had to finally come out yesterday at like close of business and recognize that they were suspending their rules for athletes being able to capitalize on their name. Like, bruh, it's way past that point. You've been run over. I mean, the train is 3 million miles down the track.
That tail has been tucked.
You know,
and they're just like, oh, I guess. Well, here's our little information. Yeah, we're cool with it too. Like they're acting like they were like people were waiting for their rubber stamp of approval to be able to do this. Like you didn't have to say anything. It was happening.
Yeah.
Do you think that this has? I mean, I feel like on this show we're all very pro NIL. Do you think it's going to rub people the wrong way in terms of if they're still fans of college football? Because some people still buy into, oh, it's all about you're playing for the school, you're playing for the passion, and now that people are getting paid, like how I just don't understand how that would bother you if you're that. What's the rub?
Well, I think that there is an old school mentality to it of, you know, taking pride in the scholarship and respecting the education that you receive for that, and still believing that that is enough in return for, you know, the opportunity to play. And it's just not. You know, I mean, it's when you talk about fair and balanced on a college campus, and you allow other people to make, you know, money off of their name, their skill, their likeness, and some of the most recognizable figures on the campus can't capitalize off of that. It's wrong. I mean, like the Supreme Court justice told Mark Emmert, which, by the way, if you go back and watch, that is a Saturday Night Live skit. I mean, it is. He can't finish a sentence
because he's seething mad.
Well, he's seething mad, but he has no argument. Right. He's got no grounds. He's got no stance. I mean, they are breaking him down at every turn. And I mean, you know, Supreme Justice Kavanaugh, I mean, says to him, I mean, just point blank, I don't know if there's a country in this world where your business model would be deemed legal. I mean, much less in the United States of America. How do you believe that you should even be here? Like, what is your art? I mean, take your medicine and get the hell out of here.
Great run. You had a great run by pulling this over people's eyes, all on this fake pillar of amateurism, and that was their stance. Like, anytime they went to court, anytime they ever had any argument, they would just lean back, follow on the ruling of amateurism, and like the 84, 86 like Board of Regents decision, where they just, it all comes from this TV deal that they made back in the day. And then amateurism was established, and it's a made-up bullshit term that they invented.
They can't even define it.
Like, they defined it by not defining it, and so every time that the court ruled in the favor of NCAA, it was on the crux of amateurism. And now once they like disabled that part of the argument, he literally had nothing to say. He was just like, well, I can't say amateurism anymore. It used to be a one-word answer. Right. And now he was up there sweating, going, you're right. I mean, you have to at some point tip your cap and be like, yeah, we've been pulling one over on everybody for about
it's just been a robbery
50 years.
For 50 years.
And we built a billionaire business that's a nonprofit.
Right. And why are y'all messing with us? You know, I mean, that's what they're most pissed off about, is that somebody's coming to the party and trying to...
Yeah, they're trying to take the safe.
Yeah, right, exactly. All right, we'll come right back and talk to David Fleshman about this, as Flesh will be here, give us some insight from a legal standpoint on how we get in and get moving on this. Daily, we're brought to you by Nevadis. Remember, Nevadis can overhaul your website and build you a custom-designed mobile app today online at nevadis.com. Tell Randall Knockman and the crew that you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Looking forward to what our website is going to look like. They've been on the lab on this thing, and some of the proofs and some of the images and the feedback has been fantastic. Nevadis.com, as you can get in touch with them there. Randall Knockman and the crew, appreciate them as always. We'll be back with David Fleshman right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, jordy@jordyculottashow.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. jordy@jordyculottashow.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, daily presented and driven by Go Chevrolet. Stop in and see the crew in Laplace, Louisiana for your brand new ride. If you need a used car, get over to Sherwood Forest and Florida Boulevard. Go Chevrolet, Go Express Auto Sales. David Fleshman, a good friend, a part of the 2006 Final Four run for the LSU squad, was a standout over at the Dunham schools. We were just talking about Coach Pixley and Match Point, which happened over at Match Point with student athletes being aligned with local businesses. David is a very successful attorney here in town over at Brazil Saxe and is joining us here on this Thursday morning to give us a little bit of insight. And as Flesh, we were talking, David Fleshman joining us here. Good morning, man. How are you?
Good morning, Jordy. How are you?
Good, man. Flesh, we were talking a little bit before you jumped into the conversation. I mean, this thing is happening and it's rolling downhill at 1,000,000 miles an hour. What is your what is your point of view of the first 8 hours of name, image, and likeness being open for business in a couple of states around our country?
Yeah, it's happening. It's happening. It started. It looked like to me it started happening about 12:01. Today, and it's a day that has been anticipated for quite some time. But it's the anticipation of it has been pretty exciting. I wasn't sure it would roll out like this. I mean, it really feels like a buzz, and even last night, just thinking this is we're right on the edge, and it's never going back after this. And so it's an exciting time. It's something that has been coming. We've known about the July 1st deadline, for quite some time, which is even more shocking that the NCAA waited till yesterday afternoon to make a move there. But yeah, this thing is happening, and it is neat seeing everything that's going on across the country. These deals are big.
Flesh, how do you view this NCAA relationship with NIL? How do you see this thing functioning? Because I'm like you, I think as unaware and out of touch as the NCAA feels, the last week and a half with the NC State stuff, and then yesterday putting out the statement suspending the policy on name, image, and likeness for students. I mean, it's like, what is even going on? How can anybody take this organization serious? What do you see the relationship like between the states, NIL, and the NCAA?
Sure. Look, you throw in the Supreme Court decision a few weeks ago too, and it's gutted the NCAA in terms of kind of making the rules. They're in the back seat here. They're not driving the bus at all. The reason they had to come together at the very last hour was because the state legislatures across the country took the initiative. This is something that the NCAA could have led the way, could have started making some different changes along the way. Well, everybody got tired of that, and I think you saw states do that. Everyone jumping on board. I'd say a lot of people in the legislature maybe didn't even know what name, image, likeness was when they were first seeing the bill. But this was going on in a lot of different legislatures. It really left the NCAA behind. And we had a situation until last night where, in terms of Louisiana student athletes, we had a law. So we were July 1st when the governor signs it. Our student athletes were going to participate in these opportunities. Every other student athlete in states that didn't have NIL legislation, that's where the real question mark was. And so what do those states do? What do those universities do in their student athletes? You tell me that they're not going to pursue these opportunities if their legislature didn't get around to passing something. So you really had a situation where you had a handful of states that the student athletes were about to dive into this plunge into this opportunity with a lot of money at stake, recruits. It's been used on the recruiting trail for a while. This isn't anything new. So the NCAA, in order to try to kind of even things out and just to bring a little bit certainty to just a crazy new world, they waived their rule. They didn't come out and issue new rules that might conflict with state laws. They really just said, if you're in a state that has a state NIL law like Louisiana, they told those institutions to abide by the state law and to follow that. And they also said, and we're not policing this. We're not getting into the business of determining or investigating whether or not LSU has complied with Louisiana state law. That's for you to decide. So they've really kicked it down to the the institutions. And then what they said with respect to the institutions that aren't in a state that has NIL, what they've said is you come up with the policies. Huh. You define what opportunities they can and can't participate in, whether or not a student athlete can do a deal for, when they can do the deal, the reporting obligations, enforcement. They're not getting into that. So it's very interesting to see the NCAA really handing over enforcement and the rule drafting, but they had no other choice. They never got in front of this. Compliments to the state legislatures who took action. Early on it looked concerning that you would have just a handful of states. And what would the NCAA do with just a handful? But it really spun out on the NCAA. And, they've been talking about this for a year and a half. They paused it because of the Alston case. They paused it and said, let's not look at proposing rules. Well, that just allowed more legislatures to beat them to the punch. And that's where we are today. And that's why it really feels like, can you imagine being in the compliance department right now across the country?
When
rules change, they have conventions where they go and they talk about, interpretations. Here's a hypothetical. Let's run it. There's some compliance departments, and I would say a lot of compliance departments across the country that aren't ready for this. They're in states that haven't been talking about this, that haven't been testifying at the legislature about potential effects, or, this is, it's here. The NCAA gave those other schools about a, 8-hour window to prepare. They don't have policies in place. So I feel we're in a good spot. LSU and I think the Louisiana schools are, this has been discussed with the compliance directors and the compliance officers. Tom Burke at ULL has been all over this for a year and a half. The LSU compliance team is, they've studied this and have been leaders in this industry. But even so, this is brand new territory.
What are the key highlights? Well, first and foremost, you expect the governor to sign the bill, correct?
No question. Yeah. No question. It seems strange. And again, from the outside, it seems. If I was in his shoes, I would have, either tried to be the first one to do it before July 1st, or it would be today. I'm not. I would expect it to come then. I've heard that it may be later on. He may not be in town, or but it may be a ceremonial process kind of later on. I don't know the point of that, but it's in effect. There's no question. We're not going to wait on. I don't think it needs. We don't need to wait on the governor to sign it at this stage.
What are the key highlights of Louisiana's law? I believe it's SB 60.
Yeah. So look, this thing passed with flying colors. We started monitoring it and really just talking to different compliance offices across the state, just to find out what their questions were and their concerns. And this thing, it was interesting just to see it kind of fly through and some good discussion about it. But one key aspect of this is that, the statute breaks it down into things that the universities shall not do and things that the student athletes shall not do. So it prohibits certain things for both the universities and the student athletes, and it requires certain things of both. But one of the most interesting aspects, from a legal standpoint, and if y'all, I may put y'all to sleep here, but each student athlete under our law has a legal right to profit on their name, image, and likeness. Universities under the statute are prevented. They're prohibited from unduly restricting a student athlete from profiting from his or her name, image, and likeness. What that means is you have a situation where if a university in our state is telling the student athlete that they cannot do a certain deal, that's a legal problem. That's where we would potentially see a court challenge. We would see this go up. A student athlete would say, I have the right to do this under this state law. You are telling me that you don't like this deal, or you're not allowing me to pursue this opportunity. And that's a violation of state law. So it's an interesting prohibition on the universities restricting student athletes. To me, that means it's wide open. There's certain circumstances under the statute where the universities can restrict student athletes' ability to enter into name, image, likeness opportunities. Very, very few, and they're loosely written. I mean, it's the values of the university. If it can't conflict with the values of the university, what does that mean? You know, I mean, and look, you look across our law is not that much different than the other state laws, but you look at other universities, Baylor, Notre Dame, you know, what are their institutional values going to be, and how is that going to affect the recruiting opportunities? You know, are they going to be more restrictive than an LSU or a ULL? You know, obviously, I think it's you look at what a student athlete cannot do. They are prohibited from endorsing tobacco, alcohol, illegal substances or activities, banned athletic substances, or any form of gambling. So, again, you have a situation where what does the compliance department do when a student athlete, when you see a commercial for online gaming, you know, or you know, you didn't get notice of it if you're the university. Whole enforcement question, Jordy, is, you know, for the first time, you're not concerned about the NCAA. You know, every time compliance department hears of something, they feel the need to report this. We need to report it. They're concerned about the NCAA. Now we're talking about a violation of state law.
Wow.
And, you know, and so the NCAA is not going to be involved in this aspect. Now they will be, you know, the student athlete still has to do something. You can't just receive a suitcase full of $20,000.
Sure.
Because that's still a violation. That's still a violation of the NCAA rules. You know, so, but NIL, I mean, all of these deals that you're seeing that pop up, you know, you talked about Match Point, you know, the things that they're connecting people instantly on this. And, you know, one of the obstacles too is, how do these local businesses, Baton Rouge, reach out and contact the student athletes?
Sure.
You don't want them hanging around. You want them hanging around the you know, practice facility, you know, yelling about an opportunity. You know, that's not a good look either. What a company like Matchpoint does is it allows both parties to connect with each other.
Yeah.
There is no middleman.
It's like a dating service. I mean, it's like you can go there and see what the qualifications are. If you like it, if you don't like it, you can pursue.
That's right. And look, Stingley can go look for opportunities, and, you know, CC's Coffee and Walk-Ons, you know, they can go look for opportunities. It works both ways, and they're reaching an agreement. The other, you know, real benefit to that is and a concern that we had early on in looking at this. The student athletes, I mean, there's going to be some sharks that are coming here.
Sure.
That are coming to make these deals.
Will it be the agents, Flush? Will it be like? Will it be agents that come in like that start?
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Well, they're allowed to. I mean, the statutes, all the statutes, and even the NCAA policy that came out yesterday recognizes that professionals can be utilized. So, you know, and think about it. You're going to need, for someone like Derek Stingley, you know, you're going to be able to use Matchpoint and utilize those that you want, but you might have some monster deal. Allstate, you might have massive insurance companies, you know, national advertising. You know, you may do some of those deals on a platform, but you're probably not. You're going to probably be in a conference room in a boardroom working on the terms of this deal with attorneys on all sides. That's a small fraction. That's a real small fraction of the deals. You got, you know, a baseball player that through Matchpoint or another platform may get $500 to go coach at a local camp, you know, or to show up at a birthday party for the kids. You know, I don't think the majority of it. I know there's a lot of focus on kind of how high these deals are and what the potential is for the different student athletes. I think this is way, you know, a lot bigger of a deal for the middle of the road,
I agree.
You know, elite athlete. And that is the positive. That's one of the best things. So we could focus on, you know, the complications if Joe Burrow was here and what that would look like if Brian Harris, you know, BMW wanted him to come out on a Saturday for autographs and promoted that, and all of the legal issues that come along with. What if he didn't show up? You know, there's a binding contract. What if they've advertised? There's going to be lawsuits filed. Everything that can go wrong in business and with contracts is suddenly at play, you know, and there's not a lot of formality. So one of the protections student athletes really need is how do they ensure payment gets done after they do the job?
Yeah.
You know, they don't have a legal team sitting there, you know, on retainer ready to go, you know, file an action to recover their lost funds here. I mean, So what a Match Point and other platforms, what they do is they're taking the money up front and holding it until both parties come together and say the deal is done, and then it's released. So that alone, I think, could put a lot of ease and some of concerns about student athletes being told that they're going to do something, they go out and do it and never seen a dollar. And I think there's going to be a lot of just on site. You're at a restaurant, Jordy, and the restaurant owner sees Derek Stingley and says, "Look, I'll take a picture if you'll tweet this thing out. A free meal." Now that's a very basic example. No one's going to be sending notice on that. No one's going to be, you're going to send compliance. You're going to call compliance in the middle of the meal and say, "Is it okay if I do this?" If Derek's wearing his LSU football shirt, that's a problem under the statute. So there's a million. This is uncharted territory. Compliance departments are scrambling right now, and it's going to be a learn on the job. And I think Stephanie Rimp's quote a week or so ago in the ESPN was pretty accurate. About building a plane while flying. Yeah. That's a scary proposition to be in. But this is a monstrous step for this industry. And I think for the student athletes across the board, not just the Derek Stingleys and the ones that are hitting the headlines right now, for everybody. You think back to our teams, Darnell Lazar and Daryl Mitchell, and you think there weren't opportunities there for those guys.
Tack Minor.
It wasn't just Tack Minor. All of them.
Yeah. Flesh, take me to the locker room. Do you see this being a problem? Take me back to your playing days, and somebody, let's say somebody like you, who is not logging as many minutes, but has a personality that reaches the public and people know who you are, and you have a bigger deal than Tyrus Thomas does. How do you think that affects the locker room, modern day?
It's a great question. I think it is a concern. I don't think that would have happened back in our day. I think Tyrus would have had a much bigger deal, and had that been the case, it wouldn't have really stood out. Had I had a much bigger deal than Glenn and Garrett and those guys, I can see that. I can see that creating some tension there. I think that the real tension is going to be between the starters. You got two cornerbacks making different amounts. You're going to have linemen that aren't making the same amount of quarterbacks.
Eli Ricks and Stingley. Big personality guys. Yeah.
Yep. And look, I think you have the potential for that, and I think if I'm a coach, that's a new reality that you're going to have to deal with. I think you've always had to deal with that to some degree, in terms of attention and media attention, and everyone praising the quarterback, but no one's really praising the lineman necessarily. But this is money in the pocket. This is buying cars. I mean, having the ability to not just go out to a decent dinner, but to go out to Ruth Chris, and to provide for your teammates. It's just something we've never seen before. It's all on the table. Everything is on the table. It's being disclosed. There's going to be some tricky situations where players haven't actually gone out and actually appeared at the autograph signing. That's a problem. And so you're going to need proof to obviously show that you did the work. But the dynamics is going to be really interesting. I think that it's going to really fall within the coaches of each sport to manage. And boy, that's going to be a challenge when you throw a couple $100,000 deals on the table for some of these players. You may have revenue sharing agreements. I can see a situation where Tyrus would have told a local company, "Look, I'm not doing this without Garrett and Darnell and Flesh and Taz. We're all going to do this one together." Yeah. And we may not have gotten the deal, but we may have. There may be some bonding on that. But you're exactly. It's going to be interesting to see, and I think you're going to see some fallout from that. But I think it'll be managed by the coaches.
David Fleshman, he is a Baton Rouge local, went to the Dunham School as a standout student athlete there, was on the 2006 Final Four team with LSU, and now a very successful attorney over at Brazil Saxe here in town, giving us great insight on name, image, and likeness. Flesh, we will continue to resource you as the chat app inside of YouTube is on fire right now, talking about how fascinating the information is and just the wide open ground that NIL is. So I appreciate your time this morning. We'll be checking in again soon.
Good deal. Thank you, Jordy.
You got it. There he is. David Fleshman checking in here this morning, and we go straight from David Fleshman, and I got to get to Cody Worsham here as Cody's got an 8 o'clock meeting, but I got to tap into somebody at LSU just to see what the feeling around the building is this morning with so much big news happening. Remember, Johnson Spillers is our dentist here on the Jordy Culotta Show. I'll be in there at 10:30 this morning. I've passed the deadline of finding an excuse to get out of this thing. So I'm going to the dentist this morning, and I will have my front tooth extracted and replaced.
Please live stream it.
By Dr. Spillers.
Is there a worse weekend to have it done before?
I don't know if there is. I don't know if there is. But you know what? This is my fault. I've kicked the can and I've pushed it back, and now here we are.
It's a future you problem, but now you've met your maker.
This is not going to affect your holiday.
I don't know. Dude, pulling a tooth and putting it, that seems like a big deal.
It does seem like a big deal, especially the front one.
Yeah, I mean that's how
Spillers.
That's how you chomp a dog.
Johnson Spillers. Let's get to Cody Worsham here as Worsham up at LSU. Yes, sir. Good morning. How are you? We're live.
Oh, wonderful. Up late last night, up early this morning, but we're going to roll.
Yes, indeed. We just hung up with David Fleshman, local attorney.
Yeah, listen. Great talk.
And he was just talking about the wide open space of what NIL is. You are sitting in college offices this morning on a major campus. With big-time student athletes. What's the feeling from y'all's side this morning going into a monumental day?
I think it depends on who you ask. If you ask me, the Stratcom guy who gets to brand all this stuff, I'm excited. I'm excited for our student athletes. I'm excited for our institution because I think we're going to do this better than anybody. I think our compliance folks and administration they've been working on this for a very long time, a year. They have all the pieces in place. They are as prepared as anybody could be. But it's sort of like, walking into a big test that you've been studying for. There's probably some anxiety and nerves, but I don't think anybody's more prepared than us. Stephanie Rimp, her leadership, Scott Woodward empowering everyone underneath them to get this done. Our compliance team, they've been killing it. So we've got a great plan. And I was listening to David. David obviously bringing some expertise to the table. And, a lot of the points that he brought up, I think, are things we're thinking about, considering, and have a plan for.
You guys have really embraced it. And just watching the social media, I looked at even the avatar for LSU football this morning is the logo of NILSU, of really embracing this. What has been the message behind the scenes, or what has been the feeling in the executive order on today and just gearing up for name, image, and likeness?
Yeah, I think everyone here is excited. LSU and kind of the message behind NILSU, and you're going to see some more content roll out. You mentioned the avatars and all the profile pictures. Some of you may have seen the billboard in Times Square last night that kind of teasing it. NILSU, what's the deal? I think you'll find out what the deal is today with NILSU. But I think it's about the fact that LSU has always branded and promoted its student athletes better than anybody in the country, from Pistol Pete to Shaquille O'Neal to the Honey Badger. Yesterday, Darren Rovell, who I try not to cite Darren Rovell too much, but he put out a very nice story. He put out a very nice story on the top 20 athletes in the country for NIL, and 3 of them were LSU students, and 2 of them were in the top 3. So Olivia Dunn being obviously the highlight there. So it's exciting from that component because we've always branded our student athletes well. We embrace that realness, that authenticity. We don't want our athletes to come here and fade into the a crimson army, if you will, and just kind of blend in with their surroundings. We want them to come in and stick out, stand out, and be as bold as we are. We've always tried to empower that, and so I think that's what NIL is going to be about for us. It's going to be about continuing to tell our athletes stories and doing the best job that we can of that, and doing it better than anybody in the country. And then, for our compliance folks, giving our student athletes the best possible resources to navigate all those problems that y'all were just talking about. If you get approached at dinner at a restaurant, how do you handle it? Part of the bill that David was going over is institutions are required to do 5 hours of education before the student athlete's first and third year. And I would guess we're going to do a lot more than that education-wise. I think our compliance team has a lot of tools in place. Our partnership with Altius has been huge. Casey Schwab over there worked with the NFLPA. He knows this stuff better than anybody. And so basically anytime we have a question, we call him. And we're going to have tools in place that student athletes can just pull up an app on their phone and get in touch with compliance or Casey or Altius or whoever and make sure that they're fully informed, knowing what they're doing, making sure not only are they going to get some money for their name, image, and likeness, but make sure they get in deals that are beneficial for them and aren't just, short-term boosts, things that are good for them long-term and things that they're not getting exploited and taken advantage of by businesses, that they're actually forming good partnerships that are beneficial for both sides.
Cody, you mentioned Livy Dunn, and she's the only NCAA student athlete with over 3 million TikTok followers and over 1 million Instagram followers. Sharif O'Neal was the other one within the top 3 that was recognized from LSU. Is it fair to ask you on the administrative side, like what the ceiling is for athletes like this? I mean, how do you view them when now they are viewed as a commodity?
Yeah, I think it goes to the marketplace, and it's interesting because I think there's a lot of excitement around this because it's new and it's novel. I think as time goes on, the market will be what the market is, and so there's going to be athletes like Livy and Sharif who have huge social media followings. That now what this does is this treats them like any other student on campus. Like if Olivia just was a regular student majoring in chemistry at LSU and didn't ever suit up for the gymnastics team, she could already be making money on social media. And so today it just levels the playing field for her. Same for Sharif. So they now get the same opportunities as any other student, and they'll get the same market exposure as any other student. If you've got, $1 million or $2 million or $3 million, and some agency wants to do a deal with you, then that's probably going to be about the same for what it is for, not to sound like like I'm younger than I am, but like an Addison Rae on TikTok or a Charlie D'Amelio, like these big TikTok personalities, they're already making money. And so it just now gives Olivia and Sharif and Derek Stingley and all our great athletes here the opportunity to make that. But, and I heard David talking about this too. I think it's really going to affect, everyone. And it could help. We had a beach volleyball player last year. We did a panel in January with Dylan Cruz and Olivia Dunn and Sharif. And we had a beach volleyball player who was talking about, hey, I want to start a clothing business while I'm at LSU and use this platform to sell my clothes. Can I do that? And as far as we understand it under NIL rules, absolutely. So it's gonna help obviously the top with the huge social media followings, but it's gonna help the person who's been able to use their platform here at LSU to leverage some public exposure and start their own business or get a free meal or whatever. It's gonna be great for everybody, I think.
Is there? We're obviously in uncharted waters with the name, image, and likeness. Is there an avenue for like a big business like an Allstate, like a huge firm to come in and drop, I don't know, an ungodly amount of money on the table for somebody? And is there a way that would maybe make the NCAA get involved again, where they'd have to come like, look, this is too much, too fast. You can't be giving people $1 million to come do one spot or something like that. Is there a way that you see the NCAA coming back into the fold a little bit?
I think where the NCAA would get involved, and I'm not the compliance guy, so take this with a grain of salt. I think where they would get involved is if you start seeing deals that aren't at market value. If it's absurd, if it's just money and then you actually don't do anything, or it's money that you wouldn't pay someone else. But I think for the most part, what you saw with the Alston ruling, and again, I'm not a lawyer. The guy that just spoke before me, David Fleshman, knows a lot more about this. But with the Alston ruling, with what the NCAA put out recently about NIL, I think for the most part, the ball's in the court of the student athlete. And as long as you're not seeing egregious, something ridiculously over the top, obvious boosterism or pay for play, pay for performance type stuff is just really, really obvious, I think that might draw the attention. But I think everything else is basically in play. And really what it does is it just puts a market on somewhere there wasn't a market before. And, the laws of economics now come into play. And if somebody thinks that, the quarterback X is super valuable and they want to give him money to promote their business, then that's now in play where it wasn't before. I do think there's a little bit of overexcitement with some of it. For example, I don't know that that an LSU student athlete could necessarily sell a product in Birmingham, Alabama. So if you're talking about like national brands, it's going to have to be the elite of the elite, But really locally, I think it's a game changer. And you're going to allow, you're going to see, the starting quarterback or the star gymnast be able to get some things before that they weren't able to.
All right, Cody, last one. I'll get you out of here. I know you got a busy day that starts off here in a couple of minutes. You had a chance to sit down with Jay Johnson, new head baseball coach, as Cody is the strategic communications director and digital media over at LSU. He also hosts Tigers Win, Boot Up, and Hey Fightin' podcast, and he sat down with Jay Johnson, new baseball coach, on Tigers Win. What were your initial thoughts of LSU's new guy?
Man, he's all work and he's all business. I was talking to his wife, Maureen, throughout the week, trying to pry her for information. Hey, give me an interesting tidbit about Jay that has nothing to do with baseball. She was like, everything that Jay does is about baseball. Like, I wish I could give you something, but there's not much there. So it's true. Like, he's just a baseball dude. The best story that I have is he was supposed to fly in, I think, on Sunday and fly out Tuesday, and then just do his whole press conference thing on Monday. He decided to fly in a day early, and he decided to stay for the whole week because he wants to get to work and get recruits and keep guys and start building a staff. I mean, he's got a lot of work to do, and so rather than go back to Tucson, he said, I'm going to stay here in Baton Rouge and get work done. And I don't know, maybe he ends up just staying here and not going and get his stuff. Like, maybe he just leaves his stuff behind and starts new. He strikes me as a bit of a minimalist that probably doesn't have that much stuff anyway that's not in his office. So, but he's all baseball, he's all business, he's modern, he's innovative. He's got a very, very clear philosophy, and I think he's got a great plan to train the mental skills and psychological skills of the players where it's not about being fearful of the big moment. It's about being prepared for the big moment and be able to deliver in that big moment. And that preparation starts now, which is great. And so when they get in those big moments next May and June, they'll be ready for them.
I promise this is the last one. I'm sorry for making you late. How much does NIL come into recruiting, both in recruiting coming into school and retaining your roster, recruiting them back?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a huge piece. Now, again, there's going to be rules that you have to follow there. I don't think you can tell a player, hey, come here and we'll get you this deal, because, in fact, schools can't be involved in the deal process at all. But I think where it comes into recruiting and getting guys back is, hey, like when you're at LSU, take a college baseball player, for example. When you're a star freshman like Dylan Cruz at LSU, your brand value is a lot higher than if you're on a minor league team in Albuquerque or whatever. Right. And your facilities are better, and your meals are better, and your training is better, and your travel is better. And so now it levels the playing field a little bit there, where you can the thing that was restricted of them before, they could sign a multi-million-dollar signing bonus, or they could come to college. Well, now they can sign a big NIL deal, and that offsets what they would have made as a bonus. And now they can come be at LSU and be a student athlete, which is a great experience anyway. They can go eat in our nutrition center. They can train in the Marucci Performance Center, which is better than any minor league facility in the country. And it really opens the door for that opportunity. So, and the same applies for, deciding to come back. Hey, do I want to take a chance and be a 6th or 7th round pick and have to grind my way on a practice squad? Or maybe I can stay. I can do an NIL deal, which wasn't there before. I can still make some money and provide for myself and my family. And be a star at LSU, which is a lot better, in my opinion, than grinding it out on a practice squad and maybe being on a roster, maybe not, and then you can improve your stock and invest in your future that way. So I think it's going to empower student athletes. That's the biggest thing for us, is we're all about student athletes having a world-class experience. This is going to enhance their experience, and it's going to make it fun for everybody.
Subscribe to the podcast. Tigers Win, Boot Up, Hey Fightin' podcast. Keep up with him on Twitter at Cody Worsham. He is strategic communications over at LSU and digital media, and what I expect to be a very busy day. Thank you for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, thank y'all.
Yeah, man. There is Cody Worsham checking in this morning here, as going to be wild. Going to be wild. Going to be a wild deal, and it does feel like LSU is prepared. I don't think that that anybody can say with any type of confirmation that you're suited for the day, that you feel like you're ready to go. But it does feel like LSU has paid attention to this with the way that they are embracing the NIL stuff, the NILSU logos and branding, and like Cody said, there's a spot that's running in Times Square about NILSU. So they're really trying to embrace this, or really embracing this, as far as being open and being able to work with the student here. And like we've learned, LSU's got 3 of the top 15 commodities in sports when you're talking about student athletes, 2 of the top 3 when you're talking about social media strength. And then you talk about a guy like Derek Stingley Jr. alongside, Livy Dunn and Sharif O'Neal. There's a lot to manage from an administrator standpoint at LSU at this point.
I think LSU really took advantage of that Joe Burrow being in Times Square. They must have had a pretty good relationship. Be like, hey, can we pop this up there? It's like, oh, yeah, we had a ton of viewership from LSU fans. Why don't y'all pop LSU up on Times Square again?
In a department that we have probably criticized more than they deserve and seen opportunities to criticize when they may not deserve it wholeheartedly. I think those types of things, thinking outside of the box and running imaging and advertising within Times Square is home run stuff. I mean, that is monster and really, things that you don't regularly see in support of universities to athletes. I mean, I had a chance to be in New York for the Heisman ceremony during that Burrow stuff, and I mean,
it was a blur.
We stayed right there in Times Square, and I mean, you couldn't. It ran every 90 seconds. I mean, it ran every 90 seconds for 4 days that we were there. It was a purple and gold town. I mean, the amount of people that you saw supporting LSU, yelling "Go Tigers," yelling Burrow as you were up and down Broadway and all over Manhattan. It was powerful, and to see that as the backdrop. That advertising running through Times Square was really cool. And now to see LSU have a presence right now on a very historic, monumental day within college sports, I think shows their commitment towards the support of embracing this for their student athletes, trying to make this experience as good, as informational, as educational, and as accepting as they can be. And I think that's the way to play this, because I do believe right now, as we speak, there are kids in states that do not have legislation geared towards name, image, and likeness, where there are teams in states recruiting the hell out of them
Right.
and telling them that you can make money by playing for LSU, Alabama, Florida State, Miami, all these schools that are striking deals, Texas. I got to imagine that they are recruiting guys on those tactics right now.
Absolutely.
Right now.
Right.
Yes.
Like Cody said, there's no promising money, promising deals, but you come to LSU, when we have the NIL stuff, your brand is going to be huge, especially if you're a big-time athlete.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even though they can't promise the money, you can basically promise the money.
Sure, you can.
And I wonder if they go like year-by-year deals. Like if you're trying to get a freshman on campus and you get him on. With
I don't even know if it's year by year, if it's just like semester, season.
Right. I mean, it's like a scholarship times 1,000.
Right.
It
Right.
is.
Like, because they could pull that thing at any time, I would imagine.
Okay, so that is the first hour is committed there to name, image, and likeness. Is David Fleshman, local attorney from Brazil Saxe, was fantastic on his information. Cody Worsham from LSU dropping in on the university stance and what today is going to feel like and look like from LSU's point of view. We will continue to talk a little bit about that here in the second hour. We'll focus and get back to celebrating our own as Katie and the Mississippi State Bulldogs get a national championship last night. How about CP3, Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns moving on to the NBA Finals? CP3 making his first appearance. Monty Williams, they were together in New Orleans a decade ago, 10 years ago. They were alongside one another playing and coaching in New Orleans. Now they are in the finals with the Phoenix Suns, and CP3 had a loud 41
Legacy
last
game?
night. It was
Big time.
as good a game as I've ever seen him play.
Yeah,
and he is
had to.
yeah. I mean, and he's great, and he's a phenomenal player. But last night, some of the shots that he hit in the big time moments were just clutch. I mean, they were clutch. And Patrick Beverly, I told Jordan, my son, he and I were watching that game together, and I said, that's it. Beverly's done. I don't think he'll ever play another minute in the NBA because he's not worth it. He's not worth it. I got to deal with all that. I'll only get 4 games a year from you. I mean,
he swung the series almost. I think
almost, and then
But that's what you get.
He went Patrick Beverly, and then he went Patrick Beverly. What did he give you? He gave you a game and a half.
But those are playoff games to where, look, I'm not a Patrick Beverly supporter in any way. Like, I understand what he's doing, and I do love his background and what he did to get to the NBA, and all of that shows when he plays on the court. He's like, I don't know if I'll ever play again. Right. It's how he plays every game, which I'll respect the hell out of. You can't do what he did. Great teaching moment as a father. Yeah. You're like, if you ever do that shit, I'm pulling you off the court. Like, you're about to be real embarrassed.
Yeah, well, I rewound it. I mean, you want me to show you what a punk move is? When somebody is when somebody's not looking at you, and you push them, shove them, punch them, do any type of physical action to them, and you want to get up and look like a look how stupid Patrick Beverly looks.
Yeah, play emotional, but don't ever let it get to that point.
Right. There's no place for that in basketball.
No,
at all.
And I agree 100%. But that's the way he plays. And
I still see a spot for him, and I think he'll still be in the league. I don't think he's going to lose his spot.
No, I think he, more than anything, like that moment overshadowed how important having a Patrick Beverly on your team is. He came in and swung the series. Like, there was a point in time, if it almost comes back to Paul George. If Paul George does anything last night, they're in that game. Like, there was no reason for the Suns to get up the way that they did because everybody on the Clippers was playing great except for your one, the guy that was supposed to be able to carry you there. He can't even get to 20. Yeah. So what Pat Beverly did was hold Devin Booker in check and just made everybody very uneasy on the court. And you could tell he made everybody so uncomfortable. If you're going to give me a guy that you don't want in the league that can win me 2 playoff games in the, Western Conference Finals, I'll 100% take that and all the blowback.
I hear you. I mean, and it's a strong argument, and I love his play and what he brings the team. But at some point,
it's always
you have to balance what is enough. When is it enough? Right? If I'm only going to get a certain amount of production out from you, and granted, when it's good, it's great. But then I got to deal with the downfall, the injury, all the stuff that comes along with it. I just thought to myself in watching that, and I said it out loud to my son last night. He will be lucky to play another minute in the league. All right, give me a minute to reset. We'll come back. We'll talk about Ryan Ramcyzk being inked for the New Orleans Saints long term. We'll celebrate the Mississippi State Bulldogs with our own Katie here on the set. We will also talk a little bit more about this name, image, and likeness stuff that is obviously going to dominate the day. It will dominate the news wire, the sports radio, the sport talk, the talking heads around sports all day long will be name, image, and likeness. We spent an hour on it here. The first hour was committed to it with Cody Worsham from LSU, and then David Fleshman, who's a local attorney who had excellent insight on it. So if you missed any of that, remember everything is on demand and podcasted and brought back to you by RMB Builders. Rhett Bourgeois and the crew over at RMB make it easy for you, whether you're remodeling your house, reconstruction, if you're overhauling and need a total rebuild, if you want to custom make a home, they can help you at RMB. If you need a commercial project done, Rhett is commercially licensed as well. Online at rmb-builders.com, rmb-builders.com. Get in touch with Rhett Bourgeois and the crew at RMB Builders and tell them you heard it here right on the Jordy Culotta Show. Give us a minute to reset. We'll be right back here daily, presented and driven by Go Chevrolet. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy at jordyculotta.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy at jordyculotta.com to learn more. Welcome back in here to the Jordy Culotta Show.
That's all they heard. They are wondering what the hell we're talking about.
Live here on this Thursday edition. Ryan Heck, I want to take a shot at Ryan Heck right now.
Okay.
I know he's pissed off
Do
at us
it.
because we've been talking to the camera.
Yes. He's sitting there watching.
Went and
like,
saw Heck
what are
yesterday.
y'all talking about?
Cajun Ready Mix. If I did have one complaint, buddy, it is that y'all just keep the camera on while you're laughing and talking. What the bleep is that? What are y'all talking about?
It's the best version of
like,
the
bro,
show.
we're actually talking about you.
Yeah. There's a reason some things can't come to air, and
That's right.
it's unfortunate because they're hilarious.
Yes, it is unfortunate.
Just watch Heck fuming.
I'm turning it off. Put the closed captions
Tell me,
on.
man. I can't tell you what we're talking about, Heck. I'm going to have to kill you, bro.
That was his only complaint.
It was, yes. It was good to see the boys
And me.
And the ladies. The ladies
he
and
wasn't
gents.
the one that complained about you.
No, that list is way longer.
Yeah,
bro.
I'm about to say, I don't have room on the notebook
That was
for you,
a former
dude.
complaint.
Yeah,
Then
these
you
things
grew on
rescinded.
them.
Katie and I were making the rounds yesterday around dropping off some debone stuffed
Deboned
chickens
y'all.
and some A-Bears gift cards. As we got a pocket full of them. If you see me around town, ask for them.
Only rule is don't rebone the chicken, I would imagine. No American Pie situations here.
No chance. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, Lloyd. Or you could get that experiment for us and tell us how it goes.
Tell us.
4th of July's a long day,
right.
brother.
All that effort.
A-Bears specialty meats. They got one right here in Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway in the Bocage Shopping Center, right next to Pearson's Luggage. Then out in Prairieville. Lunch coming to the Jefferson location in Baton Rouge next week. Fired up about that. Also, we'll be moving around town. If you see me, ask for your A-Bears gift card. I got $30 gift cards that I'm handing out. Get in there, get you some lunch, check out the freezer, bring something home, cook it, get ready for tailgate season. We're going to have great tailgate specials for you that we're going to be telling you all about how you can pick them up for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of your football weekends. As everything full capacity now. I saw where the Indianapolis Colts became the final team in the NFL to lift regulations on in-game audience, and they go full capacity. So all 32 franchises in the NFL full capacity. Everybody expects, and LSU and Tiger Stadium will be full capacity next season. So your Friday nights with your high school games full capacity, and all of that will be for tailgating. I mean, dude, what are you doing here, bro?
That
I
scared
mean,
me.
come
Who
on.
is that?
Brock Kantrow is going to tell us about a basketball camp coming up here later on in the show. But A-Bear specialty meats can get you set up for all of that. We'll have great tailgate specials, and get in there for lunch next week because we're fired up about that. Very simple lunch menu, very, very easy. Sausage po' boy, shrimp po' boy, some type of other choice for you
Some type
there.
of
Plate
meat.
lunch.
Yeah, like a
Bunch
red
of
beans
meat.
and rice. Yeah, tons
Specialty
meat,
of the
bro.
day, I'd
Tons of meat,
imagine.
tons of meat. Think meat, bro.
Can't spell meat without me.
I mean, A-Bear specialty meats. Fired up for it. Jefferson Highway, Prairieville. Go ahead.
We're gonna look back on this in a year, and Jordan's gonna be like, God, 250 pounds, like A-Bear specialty meats.
I don't know where I've really started to gain all that weight. I can't really pinpoint it. Okay.
There's just like, okay.
Right.
Blood
Right.
and
Might have been a
intestine, and it's just
mistake.
sausage links. You can grill them, dude.
Jake Johnson. Did you see this was working out with Jeremy Witten?
Yes.
How about that, dude? Number one tight end in the country, Jake Johnson, who is committed to LSU, working out with Jeremy Witten, a longtime NFL tight end. Come to find out, Witten's got the
Jeremy Witten.
Jeremy Witten's the former LSU baseball player.
Wait, how old's Jake Johnson?
Jason Witten.
Jason
Jason
Witten.
Hey, work out with either. You know,
Jake
yeah.
Johnson is a senior in high school.
Okay.
And then Jeremy Witten. Did I just do it again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jason, bro. Jason Witten.
John.
got meat
is
on the brain.
yeah, that's right. So I'm meat drunk. Come to find out, Witten runs like tractions in Texas, like state-of-the-art football facilities where traction primarily focuses on baseball. Witten's facilities in Texas primarily focus on football training. And like from what I've been told, state of the art, like it is the standard of these training facilities that are starting to pop up all over the Southeast, really. But Jake Johnson, who is the number one tight end, talented four-star tight end, was working out, of course, the younger brother of Max Johnson, was working out with former NFL Pro Bowler Jason Witten this week. A little bit of video came out from it, but it is good to see Johnson getting his work in what is expected to be an enormous senior season for Johnson. I mean, the rave and just the praise that they were talking about him when he left Baton Rouge after that camp. You heard a lot of people say, I mean, he was by far the most talented offensive guy there. If Quincy Wiggins was the talk of defense, then Jake Johnson was the talk of the offense. Now, Walker Howard obviously was there, and he was as impressive as he always is, but that was people had seen Walker Howard. I think that was the second time that Jake Peets had seen Howard work out, but it was everyone's first time seeing Jake Johnson work out just because of the distance that he is away from campus, and getting them there for the first camp, getting him on campus for the first camp and seeing him work out.
Walker Howard stopped short of calling him the best player in the country. He was like, everything I threw to him, he caught. He's unbelievable, and that's high praise coming from Walker Howard, who's played with studs on studs, guys that are already on campus at LSU with Besh. So him being able to kind of like recognize like this guy's a dog that's coming in.
What I routinely hear on the feedback on Jake Johnson, and whether it's Shea, whether it's Billy or Sonny and the guys over at Go247, or it's even coaches and players on LSU staff, when they talk about him, they just say he doesn't drop the ball. I mean, he does not drop the ball. He's got as sure of hands as there is in the class, and he's just getting bigger, stronger, faster. I mean, he's a hell of a matchup, and to see him working out with Jason Witten was pretty cool, and seeing that media come out. The Saints made some news over the last 24 hours as they announced Wednesday afternoon that they had signed Ryan Ramcyzk to a 5-year extension, and the deal is worth $96 million. 60 of that will be guaranteed. The $19.2 million average per season in Ramcyk's extension sets the standard now for NFL right tackles, as he surpassed the $18 million in average that Lane Johnson signed with the Philadelphia Eagles just 2 seasons ago. But Ramcyzk, this seemed like a no-brainer for the Saints, really. I think that there was debate on who was going to be next, right? Whether it was going to be Marcus Lattimore or whether it was going to be Marcus Williams, really. 2 defensive backs that have long-term potential in New Orleans. When we were saying who was going to be next, because Alvin Kamara signed his long-term deal last season, whether it was going to be Ramcyzk, whether it was going to be whether it was going to be Marshawn Lattimore, or was it going to be Marcus Williams. And obviously Ramcyzk was identified as a top priority, and I think he is. I think he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, I think at this point in his career, he's got Hall of Fame trajectory in his potential and what he has done up to this point. He's as steady and as solid and as dependable and as consistent and as dominating of a right tackle that I can recall watching play in New Orleans. I mean, I know that offensive line play is not sexy and not a lot of people pay attention to it, but when you get a good one. Right? Like
you lock them up.
You know when you have a good one and when you have a standout, and Ramcyzk is that. He is, like I said, he's just very dependable, and I think in that sport, at that position, that is one of the top issues and one of the things that you want to check off, and he does that, and for that, he gets $60 million guaranteed and a new deal worth about $96 million, averaging wide receiver type money, about $19 million a year. For Ramcyzk on the outside.
Got to protect the asset.
Yes,
think about back to that draft night, whenever the Saints were set to take Reuben Foster from Alabama, and then was it the Niners that swooped in? Somebody swooped in front of them that made a trade.
Yeah, it was Reuben Foster from
Reuben
San
Foster
Francisco.
in San Francisco. Yeah, so they were trying to find like the next Patrick Willis, I'd imagine. But the Saints were set to take Reuben Foster. We needed linebacker help, and then Ramcyzk falls to you. What we potentially think is a Hall of Fame lineman falls in your lap, and it's just funny how those draft day moves fall in your favor, and you have people don't look back at it like that, but that's the only reason he's on the team.
Yeah, and that draft class still to this day, in my opinion, goes down. It could be argued that it is the best draft class of all time. It's in the discussion of I'm not talking Saints.
Yeah,
I'm talking about all time.
Oh, you just got Pro Bowl, Pro Bowlers
and potential Hall of Famers,
right? And the Ramcyzk deal is huge, because if you look at the Chiefs in the Super Bowl last year, right, where everything else on your team is perfect. You got DBs, you got linebackers, you got receivers, you got the best quarterback in football,
skilled players on defense.
Right, you have everything, but you don't have O-line play, and you get crushed. And so it's huge for the Saints to make the Ramcyzk deal, and I agree with making the deal over Lattimore and Williams, even though I like them and we should make a deal for them. But I agree with making the Ramcyzk deal first.
Do you think Lattimore kind of played himself out of a contract here with what happened in Ohio?
I don't think so. I really don't. I think he's done enough good.
No, for this year, like a probationary
as far
period.
as the pecking order goes,
right.
I think that Ramcyzk was always the top priority. I think that Ramczyk's always been the top priority because they knew it was going to be the easiest deal to get done. You know, I mean, I think by nature, you look at a defensive back, especially one that could be dominant, and, you know, he's probably going to want to test the market. He's want to push some numbers. He'll want to see if he can't find the highest bidder. I think Ramcyzk was just as eager to get this deal done as New Orleans. Now look, I mean, it's a beautiful deal. Yeah. I mean, for Ramcyzk, but I don't think that there was going to be a tough negotiation here. I mean, obviously, but
do you think O-line are the easiest people to negotiate with at the table, just because of, you know, probably personality-wise, and then what they bring to the table? They're not really concerned. I'm sure Ramcyzk saw $90 million. He's like, "Are you kidding me?" Because you have stories of Joe Thomas whenever he got drafted, he's on a boat fishing with his dad. Like, they're not that concerned with the ancillary factors. These, like, offensive linemen generally, like, just love football.
Yeah.
No, I probably would agree with that. I mean, I'm trying to think on who would be maybe a fullback if they even exist anymore. But, I mean, I guess you could probably even label them as an offensive lineman. So, yes, probably the offensive linemen are as easy to negotiate with at the professional level as you'll be able to find.
I also think part of the reason why you go Ramcyzk instead of, like, Lattimore is because there's DB turnover in free agency. Not really what O-linemen. You see O-linemen stick with either one team or they just play for two teams. Like, you see offensive linemen stick with their program, with the team that they got drafted by. You don't see a bunch of big name O-linemen pop out in free agency like you do cornerbacks.
Well, I think that the feeling is that you can find a cornerback.
Right.
You can't find a right tackle.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
so you have to make the move. You have to keep him.
You can go out there and identify a cornerback at a pro day or pick one up in a free agency round or a 6th, 7th round of a draft. If you get a stalwart right tackle, pay him.
Yeah.
Pay him now. I mean, do not even let him test the market.
Well, and it's the longevity of the position.
Yeah. And you see the DB turnover with Richard Sermon right now, who's a big time cornerback, and he's still sitting in free agency. And so, like, you see DBs pop out in free agency and either go to a new team or stuff like that all the time.
So the Saints have placed the franchise tag on Marcus Williams. They have until July 15th, so about 2 weeks from today, to reach a long-term extension with the safety in Marcus Williams. And Marshawn Lattimore has 1 year left on his rookie deal, so he's still playing the final season of his rookie deal with New Orleans. And, you know, there is anticipation that he's next to the table to get the long-term deal. Obviously, Kamara got it last season. Mike Thomas got it 2 seasons ago. And now you see Ryan Ramcyzk inking a deal long-term, and it looks like either Lattimore or Williams could be next.
Is there a thing that you understand less in the sport, and this is me talking about me, than, like, the cap? I don't understand anything about the salary cap at all. Like, I'm not a numbers guy, not a math guy, not a dates guy, obviously. But this is like the part of the sport where I absolutely can check out, because this is why I got into sports, is because I couldn't do numbers. And so for the Saints to be able to navigate the cap this way, I don't know how it works, but it's very impressive.
And it's also more than numbers. There's so many different layers and loopholes and aspects. Like, you see the big Taysom Hill contract that everybody freaked out about, but then you realize
it's all voidable.
He's not getting any of the money. Like, there's so many different aspects to it which make it so confusing.
Yes, I have no idea about the cap. I absolutely check out when you start talking about numbers and how the salary cap affect, because I've always thought the New Orleans Saints were in salary cap hell, but they always find their way out of it, and they always get to a point where they are competitive every year. So, I mean, it's gotten to a situation where it's just like, look, I mean, I hear you where they may be overspending, but I mean, they make it work every year. They make it work every season. I
don't know how it works, and I'm trying.
None of us in there.
I'm trying to think. Well, no, I'm trying. Well, I'm just
no
trying.
way.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other rules I don't understand in sports, and salary cap is absolutely number one.
You know what? Like,
anything
if you
to do
gave
with
me,
hockey.
if like you had me explain like OPS in baseball,
right?
I mean, like
on base percentage plus slugging.
Plus slugging, yeah.
I mean, like but how do you? get to those numbers.
Slugging his extra base hits and on base percentage, just getting on base.
Well, you're a baseball guy.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
I was an OBP guy, on base percentage. Just get me out there. I'll take one to the chin. Just try to stay in the spot, dude.
So like that part of the sport I really don't get.
Me either. Baseball has too many numbers. Like the numbers. It's just numbers. We don't understand numbers.
Way too many numbers. Way too many numbers. Daily here on the Jordy Culotta Show, we are brought to you by Hub International Insurance. Remember, Hub International Insurance is the official insurance company for the New Orleans Saints, for the New Orleans Pelicans, and the Jordy Culotta Show. The rising cost of health insurance is directly related to the frequency and the severity of large claims. What have you done to address these claims associated with your group health plan? Talking to business owners out there. If you have questions about the Affordable Health Care Act and how it affects your business and how Hub International can help you out, let me put you in touch with Scott Doherty or one of the professionals over at Hub. Simply email me, jordy@jordyculotta.com. I'll put you right in contact with somebody that can answer all of your questions about anything that's happening within the office and how they can save you money. The Affordable Health Care Act is here to stay. If you have not addressed that as a business owner about all the requirements regarding your group health plans, let Scott Doherty and Hub International help you out today. Get in touch with me, jordy@jordyculotta.com. We will reset, come back, talk a little bit more about name, image, and likeness. Talk to Brock Kantrow, who will be here talking about a basketball camp coming up in Baton Rouge, which will have enormous names. Some of the names that Kantrow is pulling in for this South Louisiana basketball camp.
Like a kids camp?
Yeah, it'll be a basketball kids camp over at the Sportsplex, where not over at Sportsplex, over at Sports Academy downtown, where Glenn Davis, Garrett Temple, Tasman Mitchell, all those guys played coming up. Brock Kantrow. Boys and girls. We'll tell Brock will tell us all about it coming up here
need him now,
on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and presented daily by Go Chevrolet. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, jordy@jordyculotta.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. jordy@jordyculotta.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in LaPlace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, presented daily by Go Chevrolet, our good friends Lee Carney and Nick Richard.
Over in LaPlace.
Great July 4th specials. Stop in and see the new car lot on in LaPlace, or the used car lot on Florida Boulevard right here in Baton Rouge. Any inventory that you shop over in LaPlace, they can get it to you here in Baton Rouge. How do you celebrate the national championship today? Do your feet even touch the ground? Do you feel? Do you just feel? How different does it feel? Do you feel different at all?
Yeah, I guess so. It's a different feeling. I mean, it's emotional.
Yeah.
Happy emotional.
Welcome to Winter Circle.
I know. I mean, y'all know how I feel.
How much of the game did you watch?
That was an easy one, though.
I guess, but
I mean, y'all
still
kicked
weird
their
about
ass.
it. I mean, I was in and out.
Kumar Rocker, bro. How much money has Kumar Rocker
beginning.
lost in the last month?
Yeah, he has not looked good.
I don't know. I think he gets a pass because that umpire was abysmal last night. Now,
He's still going to be top 5.
yeah, 100%. But
I mean,
some of the pitches that guy was calling were unbelievable, and he seemed to be only going one way. I don't know. He looked like and then he calls a seconds infraction on Kumar, and I've never even seen that.
Me either.
My buddy texted me. He's like, this umpire needs to fake a heat stroke. He needs to get out. Like he was legitimately rattled. Like you could tell. He was looking around like, this spot's too big for me.
Jordan was like, wait, is that a thing? I was like, I don't know. Is that a thing? I mean, like, you can call. I've never seen it called. I mean, I've seen the pitch clock. Yeah. But, I mean, I've never seen... That was the second one. Because the first time you get a warning, and the umpire... This man was so much making it about himself. It's unbelievable. Like we talked about earlier, he wasn't... Like, he wouldn't make the call. He wasn't making the call until he did the... Ha! Like you go strike, and then you do the finger point. Everybody knows that. And so he just wanted the cameras on him a little bit, and he turned it into, like, the Jim West show, whatever umpire that is.
God, it's giving me anxiety.
It was so bad, but he called one pitch infraction, which is a warning, stepped out in front of the plate, did the thing. And then the next one is an automatic ball. Yes, and so he called the automatic ball like 5 pitches later. It's just unbelievable what he did to Kumar Rocker. But congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, it was weird. I was in and out of it. I actually watched half an inning after David made the Vandy comment and I was contemplating our divorce. I watched half of an inning, like, in the shower. Like,
the Noah move.
Up against the wall. And I could kind of see it from the side.
The shower is the move.
Wait, describe that again?
No one knows what it's like. Well, that's weird. Noah's house that for me. Let me clarify that. No one knows what my shower is like.
Pressed up against the wall.
Jordy Culotta Show.
Oh, man. I didn't think that through before I said it. Sorry, Noah and Noah's parents.
Where were we? In your shower, that's right.
We were in the shower.
2 shower heads?
No, when I freak out, when I used to, some fandom moments, I would definitely get to the shower. I always thought that it was kind of a hiding place,
so
kind of a
I'm
spot.
Not super weird.
No,
okay.
No, just kind of sitting there and wait for somebody in the living room to yell some type of reaction, kind of like, what happened?
I watched the Mississippi State football game last year in the shower because I had it off, and then Jabril Cox had the pick 6, and I hear my little brother Maxie just scream, so I was like fumbling my phone, and I turned it on like up there, and I was like, okay. They scored again, and I was like, yeah. Turn it off.
Have you watched a game in the shower? Because
I've never made that. I've never made the shower move. I don't know if I've walked away, but I always come back. I'm just
I'll always get back to it.
No, I mean the shower is an absolute commitment. Like I don't, I'm out. I'm not bringing my phone in the shower. I don't even have a place to put it.
Well,
if I'm thinking about
TV
it.
from there. Like
yeah, I know, Katie. You have a TV like probably in every room of your house. I have one TV in one room of my 1-bedroom apartment in my parents' house.
Lloyd was tweeting about Katie's pantry.
Dude, the all-time pantry, first ballot.
So I couldn't send a picture back, but you probably already had a photo of it. You should have just posted it.
I have a video of your entire house.
Lloyd walking around just like walking the goat.
Taking a stroll.
Hanging in the pantry.
Noah hates Henry.
I'm not walking the goat, I'm beating the goat up.
Noah's Henry's babysitter, and he hates him.
They're stalemate.
It's too much.
We don't get along.
It's too much.
I walk in there and he's like,
ready.
He's ready to
chill, bro. Chill.
Stop the cage. I lock it up, and I was like, "What's up now?"
After did kind of like a free range chicken. That man knows the parameters of the house. He's good. He's fell in the pool.
Me. He's like, Henry's out. Henry got out. I'm like, get some peanut butter crackers. He'll come right back.
I'm going to feed him, and I turn around. He's right next to my car. I was like, he's not in this cage anymore.
Get peanut butter crackers for Henry and for Jordy. They'll follow you where you want to go.
Hey. Daily, we're brought to you here by AdvantaClean. Remember, over at AdvantaClean, you can get in touch with about water, fire, or mold damage. If you smell the water, the mold, you can get in touch with Bradley Lynch. They can help you clean that up today. Get in touch with them over at AdvantaClean. ADVANTA clean.com. AdvantaClean. as you can find him there. They're over in Industrialplex. All right, we'll close out the show next. Brock Kantrow is going to be here. He's got a Breck event over at Sports Academy coming up on Saturday, July 24th, as he has got some big names: Darnell Lazar, Howard Carter, Ethan Martin, Skylar Mays, Stanley Roberts, Collis Temple Jr., Collis Temple III, Garrett Temple, Tyrus Thomas, Nikita Wilson, Stromile Swift, Daryl Mitchell, Wayne Sims. Just a couple of the names.
Just a couple.
John Brady is going to be there as well.
Brought to you by Belvedere Vodka.
Brought to you by the Jordy Culotta Show. as Brock Kantrow will be here next. We'll be right back and close out today's show here, brought to you by Go Chevrolet. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy@JordyCulottashow.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy@JordyCulottashow.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in LaPlace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Heck, I'm blasting on you again, bro. As Kantrow is laughing into the television, into the cameras here, pissing Ryan Heck off.
It's open mic night.
Welcome back in here to the Jordy Culotta Show. Good stuff this morning. David Fleshman, thank him for stopping by in hour number one. And we talked to Cody Worsham. Name, image, and likeness is just it's wildfire right now. It is spreading across America as NCAA and name, image, and likeness goes into law today in a couple of states, but it's being talked about and discussed all over the country, and people are capitalizing on it immediately. As we told you some of the examples early in the show. Remember, all of our stuff is podcasts. Go back and check it out. Joined now by a good friend, longtime friend, Brock Kantrow. I heard that giggle over there, bro. As Brock Kantrow is, he's familiar. You probably know him from Bistro by Roans. You know him from Pizza by Roans. Longtime basketball coach in the area. Has been a part of the Team Sportplex, which opened up over there on the corner of Perkins Road and Kenilworth. He was the primary fundraiser behind that and getting off the ground, and now has a fantastic event coming back to Baton Rouge. This will be over at the Sports Academy. which is a cool gym here in town. If you've never seen it, I mean, it is a sweat box underneath the interstate over there on North 22nd in Florida, and has been there forever.
That's how you sell it.
And has been there forever. And the amount of players that have come through there, players and coaches, if anybody has had any type of impact on Baton Rouge basketball, odds are you have spent an extended amount of time over at the Sports Academy. And this list of names that I give you that will be there on Saturday, July 24th from 9 till noon, with spots still available. Howard Carter, Darnell Lazar, Ethan Martin, Skylar Mays, Stanley Roberts, Collis Temple, the junior and the third, Garrett Temple, Tyrus Thomas, Nikita Wilson, Stromile Swift, D. Mitch, and Wayne Sims all going to be in town. Stromile will be there. A couple of people still tentative, but Brock put that together. Good to see you, buddy. Get up on that microphone. Don't be scared of it.
Oh, glad to be here.
Welcome to the Jordy Culotta Show. How are you?
Living the dream.
Amen, buddy. So this has become kind of an annual event for you?
It's going to be an annual event.
Okay.
We did the first one 5 years ago at the Sportsplex when we first opened the Sportsplex. And then some time went by, and these guys aren't getting younger. Howard and Ethan, these guys are Coach Brown, Coach Brady. Nobody's really going in reverse. So
sure.
Getting these guys together is really important to me, especially for the guys that people don't really know about these days. You put Skylar Mays with Howard Carter. That's a pretty impressive two guys that have played in two different eras. And, Howard's on the All-Century team. I imagine one day when they have the next All-Century team, Skylar and Garrett Temple will be on the All-Century team for that century. So just getting these guys back together. They love being with each other. It's a camaraderie. It's fun for them. They're glad to give back. They don't get anything from it. We don't pay them. They just come and teach. And especially going back to Sports Academy, where Garrett grew up and the Temples grew up. And it's just it's a really neat place that I think most people in Baton Rouge don't even know exists.
No, it's you can feel it when you are in there. I mean, you can feel the aura of the place. I mean, you can feel the history of the place. It's still got what looks like an original floor that's been kept up tremendously. Mm-hmm. They've made a couple of refurbishments, like a new roof, but you can't even tell. It feels like 1955 in there.
It does.
When you walk in there. I mean, it is. The lights coming in naturally from the lights above on top of it's just. It feels like basketball. And on July 24th, like we said, from 9 to noon, Brock will be putting on a camp. Obviously, limited availability here with just the one floor. How's this going to work?
We're going to have 80 people max, just because it is one floor, and it's first come, first serve. I think I'll check yesterday. I think we already have 40 people signed up, so it's going to go pretty quick. And those that get in will probably be in something they can talk about to their kids at some point in time when they get older and have their own kids. I think it's just going to be a memorable occasion that basketball junkies like in Baton Rouge, which most people would love to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And little Jay it will be there as he signed up for it, and then he's taking his first trip to string music camp.
I love it.
Leaving town on a week from Sunday, as he will make his first trip to Summit, Mississippi, to go over to what is formerly of Dixie basketball, now called String Music Camp.
All-time basketball phrase is string music. Like
yes.
it lives forever.
Amen.
Have you taught him to make his bed yet? I guess that's
what we've been going over. That's what we've been going over, Brock. He's trying to go. He's trying to go just sleeping bag.
Well, that's
which I think is illegal. I said I don't know if that's a loophole or not. I like where your head's at. I see what you're doing.
I need to talk to him because I figured it out after about 5 years. I just stopped making my bed and took the tours. Like I'll run, I'll go perform.
By the time you get to 8th grade, you want to get up in there and sing in front of everybody.
Hargrove
right?
Military Academy over there. Where are we going?
Dude, this is the Dixie basketball camp. I mean, how long has it been there?
God, 40 years
at least.
Yeah,
at least.
But that's part of the rules. You have to make your bed. And
yes, sir.
If you don't make you make your bed every morning, and if you don't make it, you have to
run.
You get to run, and then
you can choose to
do like an act in front of the camp, sing.
Would do that every time.
Exactly.
That's an easy choice.
Yeah. I still can't make up my bed.
You know what you should have done is make your bed as your act.
That's right.
Tell me what you think of what Will Wade has done here in the short off season, or I guess it's been an extended off season now. Darius Dade has announced that he was coming back on our show a couple of days ago, and Wade was here yesterday talking about the potential of this team. I mean, Brock, I think everybody knows where my loyalty lies and my feelings on the head coach and the program, but I really believe this is his best team, and I think that they are whether they are or they're not, because I don't think they'll ever get the respect because just nationally nobody wants to mess with him.
Right.
But I think they're a top 15, top 12 team going into the country.
Talent-wise, they're unbelievable. I mean, it's a different era in basketball right now. I mean, with the portal, and it's almost like you're a GM for an NBA team. And Will is really good at that. I mean, he's really good at putting the pieces together, and he's good about putting them together and then having them play together. I think that's the most important part. They got a talented roster. Getting those guys to come together in a short time, because it's a brand new roster.
Yeah, it really is.
Most people don't even know the names on the roster. I mean, they couldn't even tell you 4 players on the team except for Darius Days right now. But he's crafted a top 5 program, as far as talent's concerned right now.
It seems like Will Wade's put a lot of pressure on himself to be able to build this roster and then also manage it, because he doesn't know if these guys are going to gel or not. So that's a lot of pressure on himself to be able to make sure these guys fit.
But I agree with Brock. I think that he probably feels comfortable in that situation because that's probably what he does best.
Yeah.
Right.
He's able to bring a team together and, really create an environment where they can fall in love with each other.
Yeah.
Their chemistry is usually right. They usually feel good about each other and have each other's back. And it doesn't matter if it's built on freshmen or built on experienced guys. And he's kind of got a nice mix of new faces with some old heads coming back like Darius Days.
Mm-hmm. Did you see some of them not gelling last year? I think there were points in the season where it looked like it was very contentious.
Well, definitely at the beginning, because I think you were seeing those guys take the advice that they were gotten in the offseason during this part of it, and we're trying to implement that. LSU was at their worst when Trendon Watford was trying to be a pro.
That's like we were playing 3 different games.
Yeah, it was when he was trying to play for the next level, they were just out of touch and out of sync. When he found his role, found his lane, and just attacked it. Yeah. LSU was as good as there was in the conference.
And they got enough players this year where if you're not doing right, you can go have a seat and
Josh
talk
LeBlanc.
about it. Yeah.
Josh LeBlanc is a great example of that. Josh LeBlanc was able to get by with some of the stuff that he was not doing because, quite frankly, they had to have him. Yeah. They needed him. At this point, he's expendable. Yeah. If you don't want to follow the rules and you don't want to take care of your business, well, that guy is and that guy is. So, it's probably going to be best if you go play somewhere else.
And that's the difference with this roster and any roster he's had so far.
That is the difference. Yeah. You've got ultimate competition. Yeah. You've got competition that will weed out the weak. Yeah. So great to see you, bro. So tell me real quick, how do people sign up? Do they sign up online?
They can go to on the Facebook site. I think you have it.
Yeah, I do.
And breck.org. And just type in Hometown Heroes as the clinic name, and it'll take you right to the registration.
I have the link for the Facebook. I will forward it over to you, Noah. And we will let's get that on all of our social media platforms to make sure everybody can see this. Hometown Heroes Basketball Clinic coming up July 24th, 9 till noon. It'll be at the Sports Academy. It's open for 5th graders through 12th graders, and spots are filling up fast. The list of instructors is embarrassing, really. Name an LSU basketball player that's come through here over the last 25 years and meant anything, and odds are he will be there.
Can Strohmeyer still dunk?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I saw Julius Erving dunk 3 weeks ago at 65.
Yeah, Strohmeyer only has to jump like 15 inches to dunk.
I think people like Tyrus Thomas and Strohmeyer Swift.
Be able to do it forever?
Not forever, but 60.
Tyrus is in great shape.
Yes. Tyrus probably still catch one off the backboard.
Yes.
Tyrus can still play.
And look, I'm so mad because Mike Mood was scheduled to come.
Oh.
He's playing again in the Big 3, and he's got a game on the 24th.
Has there been anything come back on that Ben Simmons stuff? Did Ben Simmons take him up on that?
I don't know. I wish he would.
I wish he would too. As close to Mahmoud, as close to Chris Jackson as there is in our city is Brock. I think I've had Mahmoud on my show 3 times since he's kind of come back out into Baton Rouge, and all of them have been because of BK.
He's such a good dude.
He's as good as they make him. Brock Kantrow, thank you, bro. Great to see you.
Always a pleasure.
Good luck.
Yep.
We'll see you over there at the Hometown Heroes Basketball Clinic coming up on July 24th. That'll be at the Sports Academy, 9 till noon. Limited availability, so you make sure and get your spot secured now. You can do that on the Facebook site. Just get on Facebook, search Hometown Heroes Basketball Camp, or breck.org also has a live link for you. Good show today. Appreciate everybody's interaction. Thank you to David Fleshman and Cody Worsham for stopping in. Thanks for Brock Kantrow stopping into the UDL. Make sure you sign the flag before you get out of here, bro. Daily, we're brought to you by Ghost Chevrolet. Enjoy your Wednesday. Or enjoy your Thursday. I'll be at the dentist today. New front tooth tomorrow.
Just trying to avoid this thing.
I'm going to the dentist too.
New front tooth today, bro. I'm going under.
Clean. I'm getting clean.
Yeah, well, you win. You win, bro. Or maybe I win. Maybe I win. I get numbed up with the gas. We'll see. We'll see, man.
What do you? Okay, 0 to 10. What is your anxiety level? Do you get nervous going to the dentist?
I've got sweaty palms right now.
Yeah.
For
what
sure.
time is it?
For sure. It's all going down at 10:30. So I mean, we're an hour and a half away. We're inside 90 minutes.
This is peak nervous time.
Yeah, I mean,
you're going to get into the waiting room.
Pre-game speeches.
Need some snacks before you get out of here.
Could you eat? You
can't eat. Yeah, well, shut up, Lloyd.
I was going to say, you just passed up on some crackers when you normally would have eaten them.
That's exactly right,
Give
Lloyd.
me a second to fix myself.
Back here tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. New producer in tow.
New tooth.
With a new tooth. So we'll see, man. We'll see. All right. Have a good Thursday. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning.
It's a gold tooth.
Bobby Bonilla Day.
Bobby Bonilla Day.
Bobby Bonilla Day. The guy collects. Where are we on this 25-year contract? It's got to be getting close to the end.
It's until 2035, I think.
Wow.
1.19 million, I believe.
Mailbox money.
I need
the
that contract.
best.
Jeez.
Is it? Would you? Has anybody else done this format wherever they defer payment?
I gotta believe so. I gotta believe there's more Bobby Bonillas in the world. He can't be the only one with deferred payment contracts. Now his was probably the first and the most famous, but there has to be with as many owners that have hit financial skids.
Unknown caller.
Okay.
It's probably the dentist.
That is the dentist. That is the dentist. You son of a bitch, bro. You bastard. You bastard.
Well, we can keep doing the show. Like, look, show her in the leg. Here, come back. Where would you rank his mailbox walk all time? Like, I would say Seinfeld, Friends, Bobby Bonilla is probably number one on my list, though. Because
of athletes.
No, I would just say all time of people that collect like residual checks.
I don't know, man. Those Friends, I had no idea that they still demanded that type of
cheddar
money. Yeah, Jesus. I mean, $2.5 million per head for a HBO special. Show was no good.
It was terrible.
I mean, it was a terrible show. It was a terrible show.
Lady Gaga was good.
Yes, I'm trying to think mailbox money. I mean, there's got to be some heirs somewhere that we know. I mean, I know a couple of heirs that get mailbox money. That life is sweet.
Well, Michael Jordan's getting a pretty.
Yeah, Michael Jordan's kid. You know what I mean? I mean, not Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan had to put in the work and create all of the royalties.
Yeah, that's what makes Bobby Bonilla so great, because he's not doing anything right now. So he just gets to stroll down. I wonder how. I'd love to see how his bank account is set up. If he's like, I'm hustling to the mailbox. Like, I'll get it tomorrow.
Yeah,
like,
right, bro. They direct deposit this thing for you, man.
No mailbox
he never
anymore.
even sees
well, I know,
it.
but that's the idea.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, he probably doesn't even know today's Bobby Bonilla Day at this point.
Oh, he definitely knows it's Bobby Bonilla Day. That's what I'm saying. How much is he? I didn't know how much he's hurting for that 1.1. Is he living paycheck to paycheck?
We saw him on an ad this morning.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If he's not struggling, he doesn't need to do that commercial.
That's right.
What a holiday. Top 5 holiday. Should be a national holiday.
Excellent.
It should. Good to see you, bro.
Good seeing you. Thank you.
All right, we're back with you tomorrow morning.
No better day where it's a day off than Bobby Bonilla Day.